Former Jets linebacker, now entrepreneur and businessman C.J. Mosley has been active post-retirement. So let's catch up with the five-time Pro Bowler, get his thoughts on the Jets, Aaron Glenn culture, and of course his charity golf tournament that he's hosting with U Stadium on September the 25th. C.J., appreciate you hopping on, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. How you doing?
All right, man. I'm doing great, man. I'm still waiting for that invite to that golf tournament, but don't worry, you don't have to send it because I'm not really not that good. But I can putt putt though. I'm a beast at putt
Yeah,
putt.
we can definitely put. I'll be there with you.
All right, man. So talk to me, man. I saw you at the Brightland Watch event with the NFL. You say you had a lot going on. What have you been up
Mhm.
to since retiring, and what's it been like watching your guys, your former teammates, so far this early in the season?
Yeah, post-retirement has been going well. The transition, thankfully, has been going well for me. Dad life has definitely increased, time at home. But also, even though I'm retired, I'm definitely still working. I wanted to figure out a way, to kind of get back to the game, get back to the next generation. Coaching was never in my future. It's a lot of extra work hours that the coaches put in compared to the players. So I knew that time on task. I didn't want to get right back to that. So starting a sports agency to me felt like the right thing to do, especially with the NIL and the college players. And as people like to say, it's the wild wild west. So just bringing some authenticity, bringing the blueprint of my career, my playing days, understanding every step that these young guys are about to take, and just trying to bring that mentorship and that leadership to their career. And of course, off the field, focusing on the NIL, the marketing, them growing. Like you said, I was at the Brightland NFL event. That started because a few years ago, me and my business partner were trying to make a deal with the watch brand. Then end up going through a few years down the road. That connection that we made. That person ended up working with Brightland and introduced us to the CEO of Brightland, as far as the USA brand. And next thing you know, I'm a brand ambassador. So just connecting yourself, putting yourself out there, being noticeable, knowing how to talk to people, all those things come in handy, especially post retirement.
Well, you lived it, man. Not only did you have a successful career on the field, but you set a blueprint when it comes to what athletes should be doing off the field. I remember my rookie year, someone told me your Rolodex was going to be the most important asset that we take from football. And for all of the young kids watching right now, I'm kind of aging myself on what a Rolodex is, but hey, you get a chance to shake a hand, get that email, that TikTok or whatever, and stay in contact with these people because you never know what that hand that you shake, what happens, what that grows into a couple years from now. So, hey man, appreciate you setting that blueprint and showing these kids the way, and good luck with that. So
Sure.
now that you got a little free time on your hands, I can imagine Sundays you're kind of watching Gang Green play. Jets are 0-3 right now, but they've lost two games by a field goal to two playoff games or two playoff teams. I know there's no moral victories in the NFL, but are they playing a lot better than what a lot of people kind of expected them to coming into this season?
Um, Being a Jet, being in the NFL, everybody has the same expectations before the season start. And when it starts, you never know how it goes. Injuries happen, all type of things happen that you can't control. So, that being said, I've been in the locker room when we've been 0-3. I've been in the locker room when we felt like this. I've been in the locker room when we had tough losses. And I've been in the locker room we had when the Jets had weeks like last week. So I'll say that they did respond well, from a bad loss last week against the Bills. Watching them this past Sunday, I appreciated their effort. I talked to a few of the players just to kind of get their mindset because I saw the chatter on the internet. So I know as a former player how I would be feeling, and as a retired player, it still got to me.
Yeah.
So I wanted to check in on them to make sure their head were right. And after a loss like that, it's tough. I just we felt that too many times. Being in that locker room, and you feel like what else can I say? What more can I do? But you just have to get up and try to find another way. And I think with Coach Glenn that's what he's trying to do. Him showing him being himself on the sideline. There's nothing wrong with that. That was a big play. Obviously it didn't turn out the way the team wanted it to, but you can't be afraid to be yourself. You can't be afraid to show your true passion just because you're not winning in the game. Because who you are is just who you are. So I hope he keep that same energy. I hope the next time we get a big play, he's dancing again. And at the end of the day or the end of the game, the whole team will be celebrating.
Well, I definitely want to tap into that moment in detail, but a little bit after. But this question right here is a lot of chatter online, and like you, it's great that you're still wearing that captaincy and still mentoring these guys, talking to these guys, even when you're away from the facility. The defense has kind of struggled a little bit under new defensive coordinator Steve Wilks these first 3 games. As you know, Jets defense has always been that's been the strong unit on the team. So is what you're seeing out there and what you're talking to and communicating with the guys that you're still in touch with, is it fixable?
Yeah, for sure. Scheme is one thing. So, that defense has been under a certain scheme for the past 4 to 5 years. So it's switching up, and within the year, it's going to take some time to perfect that craft. Iron out the details, get everybody on the same page with different lingo, different places to line up, different coaching styles. So that time's going to go with time on task, and making those mistakes in game or in practice and fixing them as quickly as possible. But at the end of the day, as a team and as a defense, your physicality will always speak volume. The way you communicate with each other will always put you in a better position. And just showing your heart no matter what. If you're down 30, if you're up 30, if it's a tie ball game, first to the fourth quarter, those 3 things are always going to be vital, no matter what type of scheme or coaching style that you're going up against or that you're getting coached by.
Well, they're getting coached by Aaron Glenn, former Jet. He's come in, said all the right things. I feel like he's a guy that I wish I could have played for during my time in the NFL. Kind of mentioned how he took heat for dancing during that Will McDonald blocked field goal for a touchdown, and then he was clapping after the loss to the players. Again, I understand what the fan base is feeling going through that playoff drought, and I understand being in the media, what the media, what our job is to do. But do you, the player, former captain, do you take any issue with the coach showing that sort of passion?
No, not at all. I mean, think about Coach Sala before he became the head coach with the Jets. What was he doing on the sideline? Just pumping up and screaming and flexing the whole time. Anytime the defense made a big play. So that was a head coach and a former player celebrating his team. So I don't see anything wrong with that. Obviously, if a win was at the end of that dance, they'll be praising them and making funny jokes. But it's easier to point at certain things that stand out when you lose a game.
You mentioned the defense kind of maybe taking a little bit of time to gel under a new scheme. Aaron Glenn has come into what people are calling a cursed franchise, and he's taking a lot of heat for the Jets being 0-3 right now. So you think the fan base and the media has kind of put too much expectations on him just 3 weeks into the new season?
I don't think it matters, honestly. When you're in that building, like, you just can't focus on it. So it's going to happen regardless. There's been a bunch of teams that's been cursed and ended up winning. Think about the Boston Red Sox. It was 100-some years, but the curse was broken. So hopefully, before our time on this earth is done, the New York Jets will have another Super Bowl. But all jokes aside, man, no, what the media is saying, the hot seat, this and that means nothing. We're professional athletes, so it comes with the job, it comes with the territory. So we just got to produce and try to put our best foot forward, no matter what the results are each week.
I love it. Player mentality. To whom much is given, much is required. Eliminate the noise. Go out and smash heads. That's what I tell. Now being on the media side, like we got some Jets fans that are producers, and they're like, they'll pick at me like, oh, talk about how this person should be fired, this person should be cut. I'm like, dude, it's three games into the season. Like we're as players, we'll have a players only meeting before we publicly come out and be like, this guy needs to be cut or this guy needs to be fired. Like, you change it within the house. I got to get better at this media thing. All right, let's go from talking Jets green to talking golf greens. You've teamed up with U Stadium for a charity golf classic, and that's coming up this Thursday, September 25th at Harrison Meadows Country Club. Talk to us about it, man. How big is it for you to continue to give back to the community?
Yeah, it's very important. It's part of my legacy. It's a part of what I'm pushing far as my agency with these players. At some point, you're going to be done playing football, whether it's the next year after you're done with college, 1-2 years in NFL, or if you're lucky and blessed, you can have a long career. And, you know, once it's done, it's done. And like you said, you know, that Rolodex and those hands that you shook, the people that you spoke to with, you know, intelligence, that you respected to, you never know what they're going to be, you know, never down the road. So with U Stadium, partnering with them, you know, hosting their charity event with Thompson Towers Foundation is very important. If I look back when, 9/11 happened, I was, I believe, in third or fourth grade. And if you would have asked me then, you know, what I've been a part, you know, of families or people that were affected by that, you know, I never would have guessed that. But just to have this role that I have, and, you know, just to be around people and to talk to people and hear their stories, or for them to share their stories and, you know, to let whatever out that they still have holding on to that moment or anything in life, just to be an ear and listen to them is a blessing. So as much as I can help to be in a community or, stuff that means things to me, I'm definitely for it.
20 years from now, when we're talking Jets greats for what they did both on the field and off the field, how do you want CJ Mosley to be remembered?
I was a player that, you know, that gave my all on the field and off the field. Especially going to the Jets. You know, I just played 5 years with Baltimore, so my whole mindset was to bring, you know, winning mentality. You know, obviously try to bring a championship to the franchise. But even though I fell short of those goals, I didn't let that, you know, dictate my attitude. I didn't let that dictate, you know, who I was as a person on and off the field. The Jets accepted me like I was a day one player. So there's always love for my New York Jets community. So for me, I just want to be, you know, that same person that they relied on the field while I played. I still want to be looked at that same person off the field. You know, I'm gonna be there for you if you need me. Obviously, I'm always supporting the team and the community. So, you know, that's why I'm still up this area and hosting events like this. So I just want to be a person that will remember as, you know, giving his all on the field, but being a better person off the field.
Man, the fan base still loves you, man. Our producer sitting here nodding his head up and down while you were saying all that. So, after we get
Appreciate it.
off this Zoom, he might ask you to like autograph the camera or something like that for
Hey,
him.
man, they gave me the captain nickname, so I mean it's cool. And I earned my 5 stars, earned my goal C with the Jets. So, like I said, I didn't get to my goals, but you know the past 6 years of my NFL career was definitely meaningful to me.
5 stars, both on and off the field, my man. Appreciate you hopping on with
Sure.
us.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
My guy, appreciate it, man.